The Porsche Macan is based on Porsche's newly developed EV platform called Premium Platform Electric or PPE. It's offered in two trims, the Macan 4 and the Macan Turbo. They are listed at $78,800 and $105,300 respectively. Porsche is loved for the distinct driving experience it creates, particularly with racing and sports cars. And in this transformation of sorts, where the legendary car is turning electric, Porsche has had the opportunity to do that much more on the driving elements. This SUV is promising to hold with the legacy while also delivering on the everyday daily driving needs of users in this new electric form. The stated 800 volt system is really under 700 volts, so we either see makers overstating the voltage or they apparently mean it in a broad sense, like an 800 volt class or category of car. Whichever way, it's certainly not accurate. The Porsche Macan is 188.4 inches long against the 186 inches of the old ICE Macan, 84.7 inches wide or 76.3 inches with the mirrors folded. The old Macan was about 76 inches wide. It's also 63.8 inches in height, very similar to the 63 inches of the old one. That's sized in the same region as the Lucid Gravity, that's nearly 10 inches longer, and an odd inch different in width and height, or the Polestar 3, that's nearly 193 inches long, 77.5 inch wide, and 64.1 inches tall. Just two forthcoming cars that randomly come to mind. The Mercedes EQS and the BMW iX will also make a good comparison for the segment. The Macan has a wheelbase of 113.9 inches and has listed three different ground clearance values, all based on its level of air suspension. The basic level at a ground clearance of 18 inches, normal air suspension at a lower 7.2 inches, and higher air suspension affording a slightly more 8.8 inches. The wheelbase of the ICE Macan is 110.5 inches, over 3 inches smaller to the new Macan EV. The Macan has a 100 kWh battery pack, 96 of those in usable form as on its webpage. The company states 95 in its other communication. That may be owing to differing output, and we always expect some differences. Either way, it's still very little buffer to talk about. The Macan recommends a charging limit of 80% daily. Users will obviously charge to full for that occasional road trip. With the pack voltage, the Macan has avoided use of any boosters. At 400 volt charging stations, a high voltage switch in the battery enables charging by effectively splitting the 800 volt battery into two batteries, each with a nominal voltage of 400 volts. Interestingly, that's exactly what we saw the CyberTruck do. You can check the link to that video here or in the description. It states 240 kilowatts of peak DC and 11 kilowatts standard AC. I already have no doubts that given the power, this car will charge wonderfully. I avoid looking too much into the 0 to 80 or other such charging indicators that companies put out, as I feel they mean nothing and charging performance relies on the external charging equipment as much. In their media release, Porsche has indicated, and I quote, "The battery can be charged from 10 to 80% within approximately 21 minutes at a compatible fast charging station under ideal conditions." Compatibility and ideal conditions are the riders, a factor that's proved the Achilles heel for non-Tesla electric vehicles here in the US. Porsche did indicate in December 2023 the planned implementation of Tesla's NACS charging standard in cars starting 2025. If you have any updates on this, please drop in the comments. The Macan 4 delivers 382 to 402 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque, and the Turbo delivers 630 horsepower and up to 833 pound-feet of torque. A 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds and 3.1 seconds, and a top speed of 136 and 161 miles per hour in the two trims respectively. In capacities, it seems decently competitive. A 2.9 cubic feet front trunk, adding to about 18 to 19 cubic feet of rear cargo space. The numbers again differ from the website and the media release. With seats folded, the luxury SUV stretches out 47.7 cubic feet of cargo space. The Macan lists a curb weight of 5,247 pounds and can tow 4,409 pounds. Among the other things I liked in this car which I think need a special mention, are the integrated power box, where the onboard AC charger, the high voltage heater, and the DC to DC converter are all combined into one to save weight and space. That's an interesting innovation. It uses two permanent magnet electric motors on the front and rear that collectively produce 300 kilowatts of power, and the regenerative braking recuperates up to 240 kilowatts. To get a context, the Model 3 Regen may be 70 to 100 kilowatts. That's at best an educated guess. If you know the exact number, kindly put it in the comments. Both the trims are dual motor all-wheel drive, with the power electronics controlling them in real time. Porsche claims that the traction control responds to the wheel spin in 10 milliseconds, which is about 5 times faster than a conventional all-wheel drive. And its torque vectoring brings additional stability with an electronically controlled differential lock on the rear axle. The Macan is sporting a rear axle steering for the first time with a max angle set up to 5 degrees. The CyberTruck is set currently at 3, but that will probably be software updated to 10. Just a context, though both are completely different driving cases. Most of these things are going to surely excite the driving nerds out there. All are also things you may want to experience to really get a good idea, and for which I too will look to drive this car at the earliest I can. The Macan has 3 screens, a 10.9 inches center display, a freestanding 12.6 inches screen, and a curved instrument cluster. An additional 10.9 inches screen can be added for the passengers to adjust settings and stream content. The Macan adds augmented reality for the driver to have virtual elements integrated into the real world, imposed at a distance of 32.8 feet, corresponding to the size of an 87-inch display on its own. The car is loaded with the Android Automotive OS that also supports Apple CarPlay. It will be interesting to assess it in comparison to the Volvo Polestar Duo, particularly its navigation capabilities in sync with the battery management and charging. That's the critical threshold for EV software in my opinion. These cars are still not software defined, and if one were to expect over-the-air updates, it will still be found way short. They are mostly built as embedded systems and not with the full stack approach like software defined cars are. OTA updates will function in some aspects, but certainly not like Tesla and Rivian for almost the complete car. All the references relevant to this video are in the description. It's always recommended that viewers verify all the facts at their own end, assess the features and specs to their own satisfaction and requirements. Please do all the good things anyway, including posting your comments and suggestions. If you want to see our comparison of the Rivian R1S, the Kia EV9 and the Tesla Model X, find the link here or in the description. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in our next video soon.